WWE NXT Results April 5, 2022. The post-stand and deliver edition of WWE NXT 2.0 opens up with highlights from Saturday's big event. We also see the NXT title change from Monday's Raw after WrestleMania. We're live on the USA Network as Vic Joseph welcomes us to the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. He's joined at ringside by Wade Barrett as fans cheer them on. We go right to the ring and out comes new NXT champion Bron Breakker as Alicia Taylor does the introduction. Fans bark for Breakker as the music stops. Breakker says what a weekend he had. His first WrestleMania weekend had a lot of ups and downs. Some fans chant "We want Ziggler," and other chant "No we don't," in response. Bron talks about inducting the Steiner brothers into the WWE Hall of Fame. Then he had the biggest match in his life at Stand and Deliver. Bron says he failed and he won't make excuses, but later that night he got the chance to go to WrestleMania 38 for the first time and watch great superstars like Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Kevin Owens, and WWE Hall of Famer Steve Austin, and it got him thinking. Two things. 1. He's going to headline WrestleMania one day, and 2. He wasn't leaving Dallas without our NXT title. So, he picked himself up, dusted off and showed up to the biggest Raw of the year, challenged Dolph Ziggler and beat his ass in the center of the ring, and brought the NXT title back where it belongs. Fans pop and bark but the music interrupts and out comes Imperium, Gunther, Marcel, Barthel, and Fabian Aichner. Gunther says that was a nice little story Bron told and it sounds like Bron had a great weekend. But nobody cares about that, and all Gunther cares about in the ring is the title and what it stands for, being the best in NXT. Gunther says the issue is, Bron cannot call himself the best until he steps in the ring with the ring general, Gunther. Bron says he's had a hell of a weekend but if Gunther wants it, he's got it, right here, tonight. Fans pop as Bron and Gunther face off with Bron raising the NXT title in his face. The music hits and in the background we see the Diamond Mine coming out, the Creed brothers with Malcolm Bivens as we go to commercial. The Creed brothers vs Imperium back from the break and the match is underway as Julius Creed controls Marcel Barthel. We see how the Creed brothers brawled at ringside with Barthel and Fabian Aichner during the break to set this match up. Brutus Creed grounds Barthel and pounds on him now. Fabian Aichner tags in and grounds Brutus, controlling him as some fans boo. Brutus fights up and out. Aichner goes for a slam but Brutus slides out. Brutus charges Aichner but Aichner beats him down with a forearm. Aichner levels Brutus with a shoulder. Vic confirms Gunther vs Breakker for the title tonight. Barthel tags back in but Brutus turns it around and rolls him on the mat. Julius tags in with a big slam. Vic says Julius needed 8 staples to close a wound from Stand and Deliver. Aichner is legal now. He and Julius trade big takedowns. Aichner gets Julius on his shoulders and while Julius resists, Aichner hits the rolling senton and gets fired up for a pop now. Julius takes it to the corner and Aichner runs into an elbow. Aichner catches Julius with a big tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. Barthel tags back in but Julius drops him and goes to work. Brutus tags back in and keeps control until taking an enziguri. Imperium double teams Brutus now. Brutus fights them off but Aichner kicks him. Barthel charges but Brutus sends him over the top rope to the floor. Aichner with his power slam to Brutus as we go to a picture-in-picture commercial. Back from the break and they're going at it. Julius tags in and unloads, nailing Barthel and drop-kicking Aichner off the apron. Julius runs and takes out Barthel's knee, then yells out for a pop. Julius launches Barthel for a close 2 count as Aichner makes the save. The referee is getting Brutus out of the ring as Aichner helps Barthel put Julius down. Barthel gets up first and works on Julius, then drop kicks him to the floor in what appears to be a double team miscommunication as their cue was messed up. Aichner walks away from the ring, looking a bit disappointed and frustrated as Barthel walks off. The Creed brothers dominate Barthel in the middle of the ring now. Brutus powerbombs Barthel in the middle of the ring and Julius follows up with the diving forearm for the pin to win. Winners, the Creed brothers. After the match, Bivens is all smiles as the Creed brothers stand tall. We go to replays. We come back to the Creed brothers posing in the middle of the ring until two hooded men enter the ring with steel chairs. They drop the Creed brothers with chair shots to the back. These are the mystery men who recently destroyed the Diamond Mine Dojo. They take the masks and hoods off to reveal themselves to be pretty deadly from NXT UK, former NXT UK Tag Team Champions Lewis Howley and Sam Stoker. However, their new names are Elton Prince and Kit Wilson. They kneel down and introduce themselves to Brutus and Julius while they're on the mat. Referees rush the ring as fans continue to boo the NXT 2.0 newcomers as they stand tall. Mackenzie Mitchell is backstage with Toxic Attraction. Jacy, Jayne and Gigi Dolin aren't happy with losing the NXT Tag Team titles, blaming it on Wendy Chu. They say they're going to end the career of Raquel González for good tonight. NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose talks about how people get hurt when they get upset. She says they will regain the titles tonight because Toxic Attraction is the attraction. We see new NXT North American Champion Cameron Grimes walking backstage. Back to commercial. Back from the break and we see Lash legend preparing in the back. We also see Nikkita Lyons getting ready for their match. We go back to the ring and out comes new NXT North American Champion Cameron Grimes. Grimes takes the mic and talks about his title win and some fans chant "You deserve it," while others chant "No you don't." Grimes says "We did it." He knows his dad is looking down on him with a smile because his boy did it. Grimes says people in this business talk about climbing a ladder to success and he did just that at Stand and Deliver. Grimes says time stood still on top of that ladder with the title. He saw all the moments where his father gave his blood, sweat, and tears for this business, but more importantly, his father, as a single parent, giving his blood, sweat, and tears to raise Grimes to be the man he is. Grimes has busted ass for years to prove his dad was right, that Grimes deserves to be a WWE superstar. He goes on and raises the title in the air to mostly cheers. Grimes says not to worry because he won't get complacent. He's going to do everything he can to make sure the title goes up, down, all around, on multiple trips, to the moon. The music interrupts and out comes Solo Sikoa to a pop. Fans chant Solo, now as he takes the mic on the stage. Solo congratulates Grimes and says he made good promises to his dad, and brought a hell of a performance at Stand and Deliver. Solo says now comes the hard part where Grimes has to hold onto that title. Solo is in the ring now. He says he came to NXT to face the best and titles run all through his bloodline. Some fans chant USO, now. Man to man, Solo is asking Grimes now, a champion needs a challenger, and that challenger is Solo. Grimes respects Solo because he sees a man that's fought every day to be standing here in this moment, and if Grimes is a champion like he says he is, that means he has to beat people just like Solo. Grimes says "Us, you're on." They shake hands and Solo brings him in closer for a stare down. Grimes smiles and says that's what he likes to see. They face off to end the segment. We go backstage to Joe Gacy and Harland. Gacy says the world is a dark and ugly place sometimes, but the one beacon of light is family. He says having someone you trust is the most important thing in life, someone who knows every side of you, your deepest thoughts, what makes you tick inside, and so on. It is imperative to success, and if you don't have family, it only leads to self-destruction. We see Draco Anthony watching what Gacy was just saying. Zian Quinn walks in with some words of encouragement and Draco tells him to stop telling him what to do. Quinn says he's just trying to have Draco's back, but Draco doesn't want to hear it, that's not what he needs. Quinn steps to Draco and says Draco needs a lesson in respect. Draco walks off. We see how Dexter Lumis and Indy Hartwell got into it with Persia Pirotta and Duke Hudson in Dallas over the hottest couple contest. We see both couples walking backstage now. Back to commercial. Back from the break and we see more stills from Stand and Deliver. Mackenzie is backstage with Tiffany Stratton now. She rants about Sarai costing her the match against Ivy Nile last week. She says Sarai won't even be able to see the sun when she's done with her. Tiffany says she's a winner, she doesn't lose, she's not a loser, and she'll say it one more time in a way Sarai can understand. She screams out about not being a loser now. Stratton storms off. Duke Hudson vs Dexter Lumis. We go back to the ring and out comes Dexter Lumis with Indy Hartwell. Duke Hudson is already waiting in the ring with Persia Pirata. The bell rings and Duke rocks Lumis with the right hand as he turns around from talking to Indy. Persia claps and fans boo as Duke works Dexter around the ring. Lumis ducks a swing and nails a thigh press, mounting Duke with right hands. Dexter keeps control and drops big fists to Duke. They trade shots and Lumis rolls Duke for a 2 count. Lumis charges in the corner but Duke catches him with a runnage. Duke yells at Lumis and fans boo him. Duke keeps control and drops Lumis for another 2 count. Duke mounts Lumis and drops right hands. Persia talks trash to Indy from across the ring as Duke works Lumis over, then grounds him in the middle of the ring. Fans rally for Lumis now as he tries to fight up and out. Duke shuts him down and tightens the headlock as fans cheer Lumis on. Lumis fights up and out now, then nails a big belly-to-back suplex. Dexter with the leg drop as fans and Indy cheer him on. Lumis with big right hands to Duke. Lumis with a corner clothesline and the running bulldog. Lumis catches Duke with a spinebuster for a close 2 count as Duke gets his foot on the bottom rope but Indy interferes real quick. Duke and Lumis brawl at ringside now as the referee counts. They both try to pull each other into the ring post. Their girls help pull from their waists but both men collide into the ring post and they go down as the referee counts them out. Double count out. After the bell, all 4 bodies scramble to get back up at ringside after the double count out. Vic says the scene isn't safe for work. Mackenzie is backstage with NXT Women's Tag Team Champions Raquel González and Dakota Kai. We hear fans chanting "that was stupid" in the arena over what just happened with Dexter Lumis vs Duke Hudson. Dakota says they've done more damage to each other than Toxic Attraction ever did. González says Toxic Attraction only made threats because they're scared as she and Kai are the most dominant women in NXT and they're even more dominant now that they are 2-time champions. NXT Women's Tag Team Titles match, Gigi Dolin and Jacy Jayne vs Raquel González and Dakota Kai. We go back to the ring for the Stand and Deliver rematch as former champions Gigi Dolin and Jacy Jayne of Toxic Attraction head to the ring. Back to commercial. Back from the break and Gunther is warming up in the back while Marcel Barthel vents frustration, apparently about Fabian Aichner walking out on him earlier. Gunther says he needs to get things under control and get his head straight, and so does Aichner. He says tonight he is competing for the NXT title and there can be no more distractions. We go back to the ring and out comes new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions Dakota Kai and Raquel González. We see how they won the titles on the Stand and Deliver kickoff pre-show this past Saturday. We get formal ring introductions from Taylor. The bell rings and Jayne goes at it with González. Jayne jumps on her back with a sleeper. González tries to toss her off but she hangs on, and tags in Dolin. Dolin leaps off the top but González catches her. Dolin fights free but González scoops her again, spinning her around for a power slam. Kai tags in and drops a kick over Dolin for a 2 count. Kai with arm drags now. Kai dodges Dolin in the corner and rolls her up. Kai with a knee on the face for 2. Dolin finally turns it around and drops Kai, draping her over the middle rope. Jayne tags in and rocks Kai while she's stuck on the ropes. Dolin tags back in and keeps Kai down for a 2 count. Dolin stands over Kai and talks trash to González now. Jayne tags back in for some double teaming in the corner. Kai fights Jayne over but Jayne turns it around and launches her into the turnbuckles. Toxic Attraction with more quick tags and double teaming in the corner. Dolin distracts the referee while Jayne chokes Kai and González seethes. González finally tags in and unloads on Jayne with big power strikes and moves. González with a big fall away slam. González goes to the top but has to stop and kick Dolin away from the apron. Jayne turns González upside down in the corner, and Jayne nails a handspring kick into the corner, hitting the hurt knee again. Dolin and Jayne work González over while she's down, taunting her as we go back to commercial. Back from the break and González tosses Jayne off and goes for a tag but Dolin stops her. Kai finally tags back in and goes to work on Dolin, also dropping Jayne off the apron for a pop. Kai with the running boot to the face to Dolin in the corner. Kai with another big running kick to Dolin for a close 2 count. Kai shows some frustration now. González tags in as Kai goes to the top. Kai with the double stomp from the top. González immediately follows up with the big senton but Jayne saves Dolin from the pin. Jayne grabs González but gets knocked back out of the ring. More back and forth between the two teams now. Jayne drops Kai with a neck breaker. Jayne levels González off the apron and then super kicks Kai in the jaw for another close 2 count. Dolin tags back in and they hit a big double team but González breaks the pin up just in time. González clutches her hurt knee now as all 4 superstars are down in the ring. Fans are actually chanting "This is awesome" for this one. González scoops Dolin for a big power slam but Dolin turns it into a cutter on the way down. Wendy Choo runs down to interfere but NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose comes from behind and takes her out at ringside. González goes for the Chinguna bomb but Jayne takes her knee out with a chop block to save Dolin. Dolin kicks González and then Kai. Jayne tags in for the double team toxic shock for the pin to win the titles. Winners and new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Gigi Dolin and Jacy Jayne. After the match, Toxic Attraction stands tall with their titles as the music hits and we go to replays. The champs taunt the others with the gold as they head to the back. We see Choo, González, and Kai recovering in the ring. We see Tony D'Angelo backstage walking. Back to commercial. Back from the break and Joe Gacy is with Harland backstage. Gacy says when chaos defines a person, and what do you do when everything is going wrong, the panic button is pressed, and chaos erupts. You reach out to family, your father, mother, sister, brother, you do your best to control that chaos but what happens when you can't control it? Chaos then controls you. Harland seethes while standing behind Gacy. We go back to the ring to AJ Galante, the former Danbury Trashers hockey team GM who appeared on Netflix's Crime and Penalties documentary. He welcomes us to Tony D'Angelo's Made Man ceremony. AJ says if you don't know who he and the original bad boys of hockey are, look them up. He says it's his pleasure to introduce the man of the hour we're all here for. The music hits and out comes D'Angelo. The ring is set up with a table and a large photo of D'Angelo on display. Tony asks how great Stand and Deliver was. Everyone was rooting for Tommaso Ciampa and thought he'd walk right through Tony, but that didn't happen. Tony says tonight it gets better. AJ says let's finish their ceremony. AJ says there is a card with Tony's blood on it, to signify he's ready for this bond. AJ talks about this oath Tony has taken and if he goes against it, he leaves on his back. AJ says Tony's loyalty can never be questioned. Fans boo and heckle them, and AJ tells them to shut up and show respect. AJ goes on with the ceremony and fans chant boring, now. AJ asks Tony if he's ready to accept his position. AJ puts the ring on Tony's finger and then kisses him on the cheeks. Tony says he's now the Don. AJ formally introduces Tony D as the Don of NXT. The music starts up and fans boo as Tony shows his ring off. He and AJ drink glasses of wine and continue the celebration. Tony D says what a beautiful day it is. New NXT Tag Team Champions MSK are backstage with Mackenzie. They talk about how the titles are finally back with them, and they give some credit to their shaman. They admit they didn't appreciate the titles as much as they should have the first time. They go on about competition in NXT until Grayson Waller and Sanga interrupt. Waller says he made the most noise at Stand and Deliver. The two sides have words and MSK brags about being champions. Sangha says they won't be champions for long, and Waller agrees. MSK offers to defend tonight but Waller isn't ready. Waller will be ready, and when he is, they better call their shaman because he and Sangha will take the titles, and send MSK back where they belong. Nikkita Lyons vs Lash legend. We go back to the ring and out first comes Nikkita Lyons to a pop. She hits the ring and poses as we go back to commercial. Back from the break and we see more stills from Stand and Deliver. Dakota Kai is going crazy backstage, knocking things over. She says NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose is not safe. We go back to the ring and out comes Lash legend. The bell rings and they lock up and go at it. Legend slams Lyons by her hair. Legend drops down but Lyons keeps up, and Legend also jumps up for a quick stare down. Lyons grabs Legend but Legend elbows her away. Lyons with a clothesline takedown. Lyons misses a kick in the corner and her boot gets hung up on the rope it looks like. Legend drops Lyons with a big jumping kick, then drops an elbow to the back for a 2 count. Legend grounds Lyons and talks trash while slamming her face into the mat. Legend grounds Lyons some more as fans rally for Lyons. Lyons mounts some offense and hits a big throw as fans chant Suplex City, now. They trade big strikes in the middle of the ring until Lyons nails several stiff kicks. Lyons drops Legend with a roundhouse kick to the jaw. Lyons takes Legend to the top in the corner but Legend kicks her away. Lyons comes back and rocks her, then climbs to the top for a superplex. Lyons hits it and they go crashing to the mat. Lyons covers for a close 2 count and she's frustrated now. Legend comes back for a close 2 count and now she's also frustrated. Lyons puts Legend back down with 2 big kicks, then hits the split-legged pin for the pin and a pop from the crowd. Winner, Nikkita Lyons. After the match, the music hits as Lyons stands tall and we go to replays. Tony D'Angelo and AJ Galante are walking through the parking lot, headed to continue their celebration. Legado del Fantasma walks up. Santos Escobar shakes Tony's hand and congratulates him on becoming the Don of NXT. Santos says he also is no stranger to being a boss, so he has some advice for Tony: keep your business out of Legado's business and everything will be okay. Tony stares Santos down as Legado del Fantasma walks off. Tony asks AJ, who is this guy? NXT title match, Gunther vs Bron Breakker. We go back to the ring for tonight's main event as Gunther makes his way out. The ring general and leader of Imperium stands tall and poses in the middle of the ring as we go to commercial. Back from the break and we get a pre-recorded promo from a serious Kushida. We see how Von Wagner attacked Jacket Time last week as Sophia Cromwell watched from ringside, and Robert Stone cheered Wagner on. Kushida says Wagner made a big mistake by attacking Kushida, but even worse, he attacked Jiro and insulted him by ripping up his jacket. Kushida says he's not afraid of Wagner, and next week Von's time is up. 3 title matches are set for next week: Solo Sikoa vs NXT North American Champion Cameron Grimes, Grayson Waller, and Sangha vs NXT Tag Team Champions MSK, Dakota Kai vs NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose. We go back to the ring and out comes NXT Champion Bron Breakker for the main event. We get formal ring introductions from Taylor now as Bron and Gunther look on. The bell rings and they size each other up as fans do dueling chants. They lock up and Gunther grabs Bron from behind. Bron goes to work on the arm as Gunther resists. Gunther chops Bron to take control and take him down. They come right back up and Bron takes Gunther down in a headlock. Bron keeps Gunther grounded for a minute or so. Gunther fights up and out, then they collie with big shoulders. Gunther with a stiff chop in the middle of the ring. They collide with shoulders again, then run the ropes until Gunther levels Bron with a big boot. Gunther talks some trash while Bron is down now. Gunther works Bron over, taking him back down for a kick to the back. Gunther with a shot to the face that angers Bron. Bron rams him back into the corner and delivers thrusts. Bron with right hands. They run and Bron takes Gunther out of the air for a big power slam. More back and forth now. Bron with a big spear and more barking from the crowd. Bron drops his straps and then presses Gunther above his head, but he quickly drops Gunther due to his hurt shoulder. The referee checks on Bron but he keeps going. Gunther chops Bron over the top rope to the floor. Gunther follows and launches Bron's shoulder first into the steel ring steps. The referee counts and Gunther stands tall at ringside as we go back to a picture-in-picture commercial. Back from the break and Gunther headbutts Bron in the back, continuing to dominate the champ. Gunther focuses on Bron's arm and shoulder now. Bron rocks him with right hands but Gunther keeps the arm tied up. Gunther with big chops to the chest, dazing Bron, and finally knocking him down. Bron comes back swinging but Gunther ducks and hits a German suplex. Bron comes back with a big German of his own. They trade big forearm shots now. Bron nails a clothesline and they both go back down. Bron gets up first as fans rally for him now. Bron tries to lift Gunther but he can't and Gunther goes back to work on the hurt arm and shoulder, grounding Bron by his arm. Bron tries to fight up but Gunther keeps him down. Bron finally powers up and slams Gunther for a pop. Bron with a belly-to-belly throw now as fans keep barking for him. Bron goes on until Gunther drop kicks him out of nowhere, then nails a powerbomb in the middle of the ring. Bron somehow kicks out and everyone is shocked. Gunther hits the big splash but somehow Bron kicks out. Gunther unloads with forearms while Bron is down as fans chant "This is awesome, now." Gunther levels Bron with another stiff strike for another close 2 count. Bron is laid out in the middle of the ring as Gunther goes to the top. Fans do dueling chants now. Gunther leaps off the top but Bron meets him in mid-air with a spear. Breakker is hurting but he drops the straps again as fans bark. Bron picks Gunther to his feet but Gunther chops him. They trade big strikes now, chops and punches. Gunther applies the sleeper from behind out of nowhere now. Breakker starts to fade to his knee but he comes back to his feet. Breakker breaks the sleeper with a jawbreaker. Bron levels Gunther now. Bron presses Gunther high above his head now, then drops him into the power slam for the pin to win and retain. Winner, Bron Breakker. After the match, the music hits as Breakker stands tall with the NXT title. We go to replays. Breakker is all smiles as he raises the NXT title in the air. We suddenly hear Bronson on the big screen and it's Breakker's father, 2022 WWE Hall of Famer Rick Steiner, calling him out by his real name. Rick congratulates his son on the win and making him proud. The camera then zooms out and we see Rick is being held in a cage. Bron looks on as Jacy appears and says he told Bron that family was everything. Harland comes walking around the cage and he's carrying a chain. Jacy says let's see if we can teach this old dog some new tricks. Harland then smacks the cage with his chain. Jacy covers the camera with his hand as NXT fades to black and goes off the air.